first podcast, my fourth episode of a podcast, whatever it is called. It's called podcast. If comedians rule the world, that's what it's called. And I want to introduce you to my first guest. He is someone I met in Edinburgh, in Scotland, outside London in 2015. And we've become friends ever since. Let me introduce you to Anil Desai.
Hey, how you doing, viewers? Hey, podcasters. Hey, President. How are you, man? I don't know what the greeting is. Where are you?
Just, you can salute me if you want. Whatever you want to do. You can...
Never cough and salute. Never do that at the same time. That's really bad. That's
I have to say to you, I love your background. Looks like you have a towel behind you. Well, have you just had your bath or something?
No, check this out. Now, I not like yourself. I travel a lot, right? So, well, we did before this pandemic happened. But so I was traveling around the world doing comedy, and one of the things that I would do is, because if I'm on a long haul flight and I've got the blanket on me from the airline, right, then I'm like, well, I sweated in that, I coughed in that, probably dropped some food or drink on it, and so I just wrap it up at the end, and I throw it on as like a shawl, and then I walk off the plane. So I've got all these different blankets from different airlines that I've collected over the years.
This is fascinating, and it's
also... So this one's from South Africa Airlines. That's where this one's from. And because you're from Africa, that's the connection I could. Oh, it's the only thing I could make.
You have made an assumption that I'm from Africa. I'm from Scotland, man. I don't know where you heard Africa.
Oh, just because of your accent, man. I'm sorry. I'm really good with accents normally. I didn't. You know what? I think I couldn't detect your Scottish accent because of your African accent.
Yeah, I know. It's all very confusing, but it's great to see you. And I noticed that
you too.
I've noticed that your glasses is coordinated with your blanket, same color. Is that South African too?
I can just disappear, man. See?
Yeah,
it's nice. I'm going to take these off. I was noticing that your glasses, you probably got it in mind. I can see the reflection of your computer screen, and I can't see your eyes. And if you've never met President Obonjo, he's got the most animated eyes that you would just be lost there. Look at that, right? Yeah. He's got these eyes that they're sunken, but when they're alive, oh, they're alive.
They are alive. But look, Anil, how have you been? Because I haven't, how have you been coping with this lockdown?
Well, this is lockdown. What is this? Lockdown U2, where the streets have no name. This is, you know what, man? After the first one, which was really weird, this one's like, I feel like I've been in lockdown since the first one. So there goes, there's a second lockdown. I'm going, there's a second one? I thought we were just in lockdown. Like, you know what I mean? So I've just got on with life. I've just got on with whatever. I haven't really been anywhere or seen anyone or done much. But yeah, you get to learn what you like in your own habitat. And some of it's scary and some of it's great. And some of it's, like you go, hey, too much TV today. Okay, do something else, right?
Look, you know what is really frustrating for me is how the tables have turned. All of a sudden, the civilian prime minister puts a military dictator under house arrest. You civilians call it lockdown. I call it under house arrest. This is the second under house arrest. I'm frustrated. But look, this is my first episode of If Comedians Rule the World.
Man, and it's an absolute honor to be the first guest on your first episode of your first podcast series.
Look, we've had lots of discussions on social
media.
We've interacted, and I like your positive mind, and I just thought,
thanks, man.
Hopefully, he still hasn't collapsed because of the lockdown.
No, it nearly did. It nearly did. They nearly got me, man. They nearly got me, but I fought through it, man. I said, nah. You can take my freedom, but you can't take my sanity.
Yeah.
You can't take my positivity, Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, we got a topic that I want us to address.
Right. You want to tell your viewers, your listeners, what your show is, how it works?
How it works is that I'm just having a chat with Anil Desai, and we've chosen a particular topic called immigration. Okay. Immigration. And
so every episode, you're going to be doing covering a different political or global issue or subject. with the guest. And
if the weed allows me to do that, that's the plan. The
Yeah.
plan is that every topic will be addressed, and comics or non-comics will have the opportunity to choose a topic that they're comfortable with, because I don't want to give you a topic that you're not very comfortable with. So you get to choose.
I'm very comfortable with my penis, but I don't want to talk about that.
Well, so far you're not going to show me that on Zoom. That would be fine. I don't want to.
No,
see
if I showed
anything.
you on Zoom, I'll knock you out. Have you got a 3D screen? I'll tell you, I'll take the wall down.
But interestingly enough, apparently there's someone in the States who got fired for showing their penis to on
in a Zoom meeting. Was it Louis C.K.?
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Louis
No.
Hey, this is a great Zoom meeting. I have this thing that I really got to do it.
Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. Well, the
Yeah.
thing with me is, because I'm Hindu, I've got 6 cocks and it freaks people out, man. So I just.
Should I be saying Happy Diwali? Is that correct?
I think it's Happy Diwali, except, I don't know, Diwali changes like Easter. Every year it's like, is it in October or is it in November? Well, it depends where the moon is. Well, look, just put the lights on.
I'll put the lights on.
I don't know, man.
So anyway, let's talk about immigration, Anil.
Well, yeah, I guess, Diwali, immigration, Scotland, Africa, a lot of immigration
Africa.
stuff.
So, where are you from originally? Because you sounded like you've got an American accent. You sound like you watched Netflix for 2 weeks and you adopted an American accent.
No, I watched Happy Days for about 2 years when I was 5.
Okay.
And then I became an American. No, so my parents were born in India, in Gujarat, and they came over in the early 60s. And then the kids, myself, my brother and sister, we were born here in London. And between 12 and 15, I went to spend some time with my uncle in America. And when you're at that age, you hear, and I watched a lot of TV and read comic books. So even my reading was American because I was reading comics, right? Rather than Dickens. I was reading Stan Lee. Then you pick up, you sat at that time when you hear sounds and then you just pick them up, but you don't know why, or you don't ask why. It just becomes part of you as you grow. And it became part of me, really. So.
Wow.
But I know when I'm doing more English or London. I mean, if you don't know, if listeners and viewers don't know, I'm an impressionist of not just famous people, but of accents and stuff. So, and I don't know how many I do, but I can just switch. So I know what I'm doing, me and not and whatever. The last 10 years, I've been going in and out of Australia like a fucking boomerang, and so I've got a bit of that as well. Comes out in my.
I've known you now for well over 5 years, and yes, thanks for reminding me that I should have said you're a great impressionist. And what was really interesting? I think you were afraid to mimic an African accent because you're going to be accused of being racist. I've always heard you do American African accents, but I'm not American and British accents and Australian accents, but I have never ever heard you do an African accent.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not asking you, and I'm not asking you to do one right now, but it's just something I realized.
But there's different African accents, man. So. But one thing I noticed, I live in the Finsbury Park area in North London, and there's a lot of Africans here, and the Africans tend to have this thing where they start really sweet when they ask a question, but then they get really loud and aggressive by the end of it.
No, it's not aggressive. It's just the nature of the.
No, yeah, I know, but it's like this African woman comes up to me and goes, "Excuse me, dear, please, can you please tell me the way to Finsbury Park Station?" And I thought, why are you shouting at the end of it?
No, it's not shouting. It's just. No,
I know.
Yeah,
she got excited about where the station might be, the name of the station. I don't know.
Yeah. So you say you're from India. So did you have, as you know, my late father, Idi Amin Dada, was the president of Uganda, and he sent lots of Indians away from Uganda many years ago. Do you have any relatives who went through that process?
No, we're big fans of Idi Amin, man, because there was just too many Indians around, and we had to get rid of some of them.
My dad was definitely a Brexiter, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, no, we didn't have family in that part of the world. Then we were pretty much India. We had family in Zambia, and we maybe distant cousins in Kenya, but yeah, but generally we're Indian, and then we became British, and then on my dad's side, they all became American. So they went. So some came here, and some went to the U.S. You know, because the West needed IT people and bus drivers and shit.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what spice was.
Okay.
They thought it was an aftershave until we put it in their food, and they went, what?
Okay, so you've been to quite a number of countries in terms of exploring your comedy career. How's it been like as an immigrant doing all that?
Well, when you travel the world as a comedian, or as someone that I guess is flown in for a purpose to that place, you're treated differently. So it's not like I've had to fucking crawl under barbed wire fences and run through landmines and shit, and get on a boat and row across the fucking sea. You know what I mean? To get to the place and then do my comedy, right? And go, hey, I'm just from somewhere else, and I'm here. I want to make you guys laugh, but I've had a torturous time getting it. But I've been flown in, business class. I'm in a hotel. I get picked up. So that's a different experience. But what you get to do when you're on the ground, and it's not showtime, and you've got free time to just hang out and stuff. You see the world. You see the world, man. You see how people live, and you see the different extremes of poverty. That, like, here we'll have poverty and we'll have homeless people, and they'll be sort of running around, maybe crawling around, whatever, asking people for money and loose change, and some might sing a song or do a poem or tell a joke or whatever. A lot of them sit there, and there's a depression. The West has a gray cloud over it, But when I was in India, and I was on tour, and then I went to a shanty town on my route there, and there's a bunch of kids, and what I did at the end of the tour, because in all the hotels I stayed in, you get the little miniature toiletries, the shampoo and the shower gel and the soap and all that stuff,
and the black ink behind you.
And I just bagged the whole lot, and then on the last day of the tour, I went to this nearby shanty town, and all these kids just ran over to me, man, and I just gave them all out, and they started eating the soap and drinking the shampoo. I said, whoa, that's not what it's for. But they're like, you don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. They're hungry. You know what I mean? These are ravenous feral kids, living in the mud, and where they turn like a bottle top into something useful. You know what I mean? Whereas we just chuck an entire Lucozade bottle down the street and not give a shit.
And it ends up in Africa. They end up, all those bottles end up in Africa.
Oh, well, then that's good, because you guys need stuff there, right? So
no, we don't need the rubbish stuff. We don't.
Have you ever been up north have you been north of England? That is the trashiest part of the country, man. They dispose of stuff, they litter stuff.
Yeah.
Places like Manchester and all that, they just dump shit on they just crump, chuck the packet. What? Like, that street's where they live, right? And you go, why didn't you look after where you live, man?
Okay.
So
you've had that experience of traveling over the place as a comedian, as an immigrant.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure what you're aware of is that in Britain, there's now they've passed this law, whatever they call it.
They've killed comedy.
Yeah, no, well, they killed comedy a long time ago. But where they've actually said freedom of movement, point system for migrants. People coming into the country, like almost like Tesco points. What's your view on that? If you weren't born in the UK, or if you didn't have the opportunity to be...
How do you get points as an immigrant?
Yeah, but look, there's a point system that they've introduced.
But what's the categories? What are they doing with it?
I have no idea.
What your qualifications are? Listen, man, the thing with immigrants is, like, our parents came over, and as did many, man. And, look, when the British Empire went and colonized 2/3 of the planet, right? And as my friend says, he says a great joke. He goes, you guys all started it. You British, you went out there and you took over the planet, and you taught everybody English, and then you wondered why they followed you back. He goes,
that's a good one.
He goes, you should have been teaching them French. Now repeat after me. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah. But you know, so there's a thing of going, well, we didn't have. They went out there, they found us, and they gave us and taught us, and we learned from observing them.
Yeah.
And we gave them, and then we all kicked them out, or they left, and then we went.
And we came
well, you
back.
know, they did have some plus points about them, and maybe we should go to their land. I mean, we've got some rights right now.
Yeah,
and we went over and they invited us to. We built the railroads and the fucking drove the buses and delivered the posts and everything, right? You know what I mean? And we even fought in the wars, man, with them, you know, side by side. So yeah. And now when the Brexit thing happened and people were voting to leave Europe, a lot of the people that were voting were people that were immigrants that had come over here, gotten all the goods they wanted, and went, well, we don't want any more immigrants coming over here. I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, you know what? The fucking Russians came over and goes, we are here, but we don't want the Polish here. But then the Polish got here, and the Polish goes, we are here, but we don't want Romanian here. And then the Romanians come in and goes, we are here, and thank you for letting us in. You know, like, I mean, you know, if the English ran the pub, and then a decade later it was an Irish guy that was working behind the bar, and a decade after that it was an Australian guy working behind the bar, and then a decade after that it was a Polish person, and now I don't know who's working behind the bar because I don't really go to pubs, but you know what I mean.
Well,
you can see immigration happen in a pub if you go to a pub from the age of 10 and you're like Major Tom now, like 100 years old, right? That guy must have seen pubs go, oh, bloody hell, there used to be English in here. You know, he goes, back in my time, there was an English person serving me ale. You know, now I'm 100, and there's a person serving him ale who doesn't even know what ale is or tastes like, and they can't even speak English. You know what I mean? And you go, what the fuck, man?
So what would you, if you were in charge of the world, what would you do about immigration? Because that's the key thing. Because what's really interesting is you've mentioned, you know, the issues about what happened in the 60s, but the Home Secretary is, I don't know whether she's from Pakistan or she's Asian anyway, but she's the one.
Can fuck off, man. She's a fucking waste of time.
She's the one who's implemented the policy, you know, for
she's
the tourists.
Her name is the irony is her name. What's her name? Priti Patel?
Priti Patel.
Yeah, man. Have you seen her? She's far from it, right? So,
wow.
But here's the thing, man. You know, these people, right, they get into these positions and then their ego takes over and then they want to control shit and then they want to be the person that says, I did this, I made this happen, and I have a stake in this because I'm of this skin color or because I'm from this background and we know how hard it was, and now I'm in this position, I'm going to act like a fucking asshole. It's like, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? We got you in the gates, you got in the gates, you got through, man. You're in there. Now do some good from the inside out, right? Don't fuck it up for everybody.
But maybe the system wouldn't allow her to. You know, it's one thing.
Well, there's that, man. Then she's got to contend with that.
Yeah.
But then just go, well, screw you, man. Screw the system, right? The whole thing's a system, man.
But how many politicians can actually say, screw the system? The one who tried to screw the system has lost the election in America. So, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if he did, man. I don't know if he tried to screw the system. I think he was. Everyone's in it. You know what I mean? The Matrix, right?
Yeah. But what would you do? What would you do, Anil, if you were in charge of immigration?
Well, when I was younger, I looked at geography in the world and school maps and they went, and then people got on boats and then they went there and then they went there and then they discovered this and they discovered that, and it was Newfoundland, and then they killed the people that were there that they didn't know, they'd never met. And I was like, but this is screwed up. And also, if you take all the water off the planet, right, and we're all on the same fucking land, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all on the same land. So you got this water that divides people, and you go, well, why can't people just go wherever? Everybody came from Africa or India originally, right? And then they went around the world. Mm-hmm. And then they go, this is my bit. And you get it now. You get it in cities where they go, Manchester's better than Liverpool. And Manchester's, Manchester, we're proud of Manchester. Okay, hey, if Manchester's a shithole, right? Fucking say it's a shithole. Yeah, but it's our shithole and we're proud of it. Yeah, but you know what, man? What's this borders stuff, man? Everyone's doing borders, right? And lines and just...
You're building a wall and borders and all that stuff. Yeah.
And I'm the guy that was just like, nah, man, do that. Don't do that. Do that, right? Make it, if you want to go to Venezuela and fucking work there or bring something to Venezuela, why shouldn't you be allowed to? None of us knew we were going to be born to be on this planet, right? None of us chose to be here, and none of us know when we're going to leave. So whilst we're here, why can't we share the planet, right? And just go around and discover and learn and exchange and value things and find worth and find our place in this planet before we're out of here, right? And if someone in Romania wants to live in Dublin, why can't they live in Dublin? I mean, you know what I mean? So it's all this politics, and the system brings in all this, well, we've got to check that and that. And all, no one's feeding their own people enough to the point of having no home. Nobody's homeless, everyone's fed, right? Then you go, well, we're worried about letting immigrants in because that might change our setup, right? But then you go, well, we're already not looking after our own. But when immigrants want to come in, you go, well, we still haven't looked after our own yet, so we can't let others in. But then other countries go, well, we don't look after our own, so you all might as well come in and try and help us look after them.
But don't you think some of this is also to do with greed and selfishness?
Of course, man.
My view is that there is enough resources, there's enough
wealth.
Yeah, and you know, I agree with you. Nigerians should be able to live in the States. I genuinely believe you don't even need to have a visa.
No, exactly. You don't need a visa. What do you need a visa for?
What do you need a visa for? Just go in.
Why do I need to be officialized entering to a place which is not your place? You don't own it.
Yeah.
Right?
But who owns
it? If it's God's green earth, right? Let us all answer to God when we want to go to another country. He goes, yeah, go ahead, man. I gave you the planet, right?
So who owns it? That's the key thing. I mean, who owns it? Why is it all of a sudden there's so much division in the world? You know, oh, I'm Scottish. Oh, I want to gain independence. Oh, you can't come into my country.
Yeah.
Wales, small Wales.
I'm not.
Small Wales during the pandemic. Basically.
Yeah.
English people can't come into Wales because of coronavirus.
I mean, they never wanted to go in there anyway. Nobody wants to go to Wales. Right?
But
there's dragons there, man.
So if I've heard you correctly, you're just saying you're opposed to freedom of you're opposed to policies where it restricts people from traveling from one place to the other. People should just travel anywhere.
Because if I want to go somewhere and I have to go through even to go to India, I need a visa.
Seriously?
What the fuck? Yeah. Are you kidding me? If they're like, oh, you need it. I'm going, what? Look at me, man.
Don't you have
yeah, but you don't sound Indian.
And that is what's really interesting because for the listeners as well. Like, even though I created this nation called Laughter Republic, a lot of people know I'm from Nigeria. And when I arrived in Nigeria many, many years ago, I was...
Nigeria, that's in Aberdeen, right?
No, that's not in Aberdeen. Come on, get your geography right. But I know you're joking. But, the experience was like, you're British. What did you do for us? And I felt like I was an immigrant in my own country.
Right, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I've been away for so long.
When I went on tour to India, they knew I was from outside of India, right? They knew that I was a foreigner. And I was like, what? Like to the point where I even got robbed in my own hotel room while I was asleep at night. Because they were like, that guy's not from here. Let's break into his hotel room while he's asleep. He's exhausted from traveling. He's got jet lag. You could see as soon as he walked in at reception. So he was like, I just need my room keys, please. And I got robbed, man. And I was like, fucking welcome back to India. You know what I mean? But that's India. India is one of those places which is fully intense. If aliens came to the planet and said, show me a snapshot of what everything is in life in one snapshot, where would you take them? I'll take them to India and just go, bam, look at that. You've got every single thing in life, the extremes of it, of the poverty, of the wealth, of the cultures, of the age, of the beauty, of the ugly, of the everything, man. Everything's there. The spiritual, everything in one snapshot. You can go, and it's that intense, and you never forget it when you go to India.
Why wouldn't you allow aliens into Britain? Why wouldn't you bring them to Britain? Britain is a lovely country, isn't it?
Because they've asked me to give them a snapshot of the meaning of life in one snapshot, and I that's why I take them to India, because India's got everything. In India, You can stand there and see all of life in front of you, and you'll either cry or you'll laugh or you'll do both.
So what's India's immigration policy? Is it the same like any other country as well? You can't just come in.
Dude, man, there's over 1 billion people in India. Yeah, I need a visa because they've already got 1 billion of me there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they go, well, we've got 1 billion of me, so of you. So why do you want to come? Your family left here in the 60s, so they are not even. They need visa to come back. What are you talking about?
So if you've got 1 billion people in India, so it's almost like China. How come?
I think it's overtaken China.
So
basically,
how many children could you have?
Well, because China had to get rid of their kids and put them down the river for a while, and then in India, I don't know what happened. They just got horny, man. China and India, they don't fuck out of love and passion. They fuck out of economics and building their futures. Right, and their legacy.
So is it like? So I know in Nigeria, some parents, have lots of children because they see them as their pension fund.
This is what they do in the Middle East, man. The Middle East does this. I got in a taxi with a guy in where was I? I was in Oman, and I said I need a taxi driver for the day for like 7 hours. My flight wasn't till the evening. And I said, I just want to drive me around, man. Just show me. I'll just pay you for the whole day. And he says, great. And I said, what do you do? He goes, I'm a taxi driver. He goes, I mean, where you got family? He goes, yes, I have wife, 7 children. It's very hard life. Mate, you've got 7 kids and you're a taxi driver. And you thought, you know what? 1 kid being a taxi driver with a wife, that's not enough. I'm going to have 7 and make my life really... What the fuck's wrong with you, man? And he said, "Oh no, because this is for I gamble. One maybe not make it like in the future with a good well. Another one maybe. So now I'm on number 4. I am hoping this one is going to bring the wealth back to the family. So you're gambling with life and your future and your existence and your presence by popping out kids and nurturing them and grooming them to go and be your fucking lifesaver. You know what? You wouldn't need your life saving if you didn't have 7 kids, dickhead. Right? You know what I mean?
It's really interesting. It's interesting you say that because I have a different view in terms of. I'm not sure if you've been watching the news, but this guy called Rashford,
there's a program called the News.
No, there's
I tell you, I fucking hate the news, man. They should abolish it. It's if you go. What's the best fiction in the world? Just fucking... The news is horrible. It's edited. They only tell you what they want to tell you. And nobody... Everyone's just fucking talking...
I know.
That's a whole other...
People like you can't afford the TV license, so you come up with news.
Oh, the BBC has the cheek to ask for a TV license? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, man.
The BBC, this is the people's... This is the British Broadcasting Corporation. This is the people's public network. And now they're asking us to pay for the very network that we've championed and supported.
And then someone like you can't get onto it after that.
Fucking, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. It's ridiculous.
And now they're asking old age pensioners. There's adverts, right, on the radio going, are you an old age pensioner? Have you got your TV license up to date? Well, if you haven't, then the BBC will fine you. And you go, you fucking, these people are like nearly dead. They're nearly dead, and you're bleeding them for a fucking TV license for 85 quid, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man.
This is the world we live in, man. It's crazy, dude.
You seem very angry, but this is more than.
No, I get passionate. I get passionate about shit, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I get passionate about stuff that I just find is unjust or nonsensical, or a waste of time, or it's just regurgitating and churning out the same fucking shit that we're living by, which is why this pandemic happening isn't a bad thing, because it stopped everyone playing their same record, right? They were like, go to work, eat, go to work, hang out, coffee chat, go to pub, drink, eat, sleep, watch TV, go out, go on my 2-week holiday, come, same thing, day in, day out.
You know what?
Kids do that, day in, day, and you go, what the fuck's happening here?
Yeah, you know what?
Why are we living so comfortably? Why have we got to a level of I'm now satisfied? I don't want to do anything besides the things that I'm already doing and that I can afford to do and maintain to do. I have no other aspirations or dreams or ambitions or ideas to evolve as a human being with my species, change things. No, you just go, well, no, fucking Netflix is feeding me, PlayStation's feeding me, the Deliveroo's feeding me, right? And that's you, and you got your shit, man. People were living like that for far too long in this new millennium, man, right? And then it had to stop. And this pandemic has fucking forced everyone to go, well, what's really important, and to adapt and to figure shit out, man. And to look at themselves.
Well, what's important, obviously, is the fact that the pandemic has stopped the immigration policy. You don't need one.
Right.
You don't need one.
Are you a nurse? Get in here.
Get in here.
Are you a doctor? Get the fuck in here. We need you. There's a queue of people dying. And then you go to the hospital, and there's not a queue of people dying from COVID. The queue of people dying are the people that don't have COVID, that can't go to the hospital because they're told to stay indoors.
Yeah, right? and all the mental health issues that come up with all that as well.
Oh, dude, man. I went through it for about 6 weeks to 2.5 months during this
first lockdown.
Yeah.
So
and that was hell, man. It was hell for me. It was hell for me. Huh?
Tell me what happened.
Well, it was hell, man. It was you become disabled mentally, right? Mm-hmm. In that you can't function. You become dysfunctional. You can't do shit, man. You just go, your anxiety level's through the roof. You contemplate a lot of negative thoughts, man, and it's really painful. You suffer like a motherfucker, man, like to the point where you can't even speak to your own mum. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like it gets really heavy, man, and it got really weird. And I had to extract myself from any environment that made me feel like that and just bring myself back to my own safe haven, to my own place. And even in that, there was negative elements and forces bombarding it from the outside. So I was like, shit, I don't know where to go, man. You know what I mean? So, and I don't have the release of work, of socializing, of doing comedy, of traveling, of seeing any. I got all of the things that we had as our release or our way to get over a hump or a way to deal with a bad day. And you could and all of those things were taken from us. And it goes, now try and live. Now try and live without all the things that you were used to as a crutch or a safety net. You have none of those things. Now get through depression. Now get through your mental health challenges. Now get through grieving. Now get through no income. Now get through starvation. Now get through isolation, right? Detachment, disconnection. Get through all of that by yourself. And that's the test that we've been on. That's the thing that I've been kind of meditating on, going, well, this is never happened in our lifetime, and it's happening. So is it about, oh, I really want to see my friends? No, it's not about that. It's about how do you live without any of the things that you've been used to living and have invested in having as your comfort, as your stability and foundations to live. And now you don't have those. How are you going to do it now? You got to think out of the box, man.
Yeah,
you got to adapt.
I certainly agree with you on that. I mean, there's a saying that no condition is permanent. And that's what this pandemic has been all about. You know, it's a seasonal thing. Certainly for me, I uprooted myself, as you know, from one community to embrace the comedy community. And I had no idea how the impact of what I was doing in terms of my creativity. And for the first lockdown, when it just disappeared, it was like, damn, simple. Like not even able to wear the uniform.
It was incredible. I just went, what the hell's happening here? And then when the creative spark came back, it took about, was it March, April, May, June? So around sort of June, July, it started kind of like finding a little, trying to, strike a light inside me.
Green shoots of recovery.
It did. And then it did. And then I was up again. I was like, okay, right, this is one of my assets. This is one of my tools. This is one of my powers and my makeup of my persona. And I'm not going to lose that again, man. Like, you know what I mean? They buried it with all of this other stuff that they'd thrown at us, man.
But I know
because here's the thing about creativity. Unlike anything else, like you can have money, you can have food, you can have time, right? When you give those things out, they deplete, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when you give your money out to others, your money depletes. When you give out the food you have in your fridge, the food in your fridge depletes. When you give your time to others, your own time depletes. But creativity, when you give out your creativity, it generates more creativity.
Yes.
It doesn't deplete.
Yeah.
Right. So the more you create, the more creation happens. Right. How do you think God made this fucking universe in 7 days? You know what I mean? He went, well, I'm going to just put that there and I'll put another thing. He puts it with it. By the end of day one, I'm on, right? So the more you create, the more you will create. It never depletes. It never depletes. Never depletes.
Yeah.
It just keeps giving, man. And that's the way to go. That's what I've been trying to just go on that path to stay sane.
But I will make one point though, even though it's been really difficult for lots of people and people have had to adjust, there's nothing wrong in actually just stopping, even though you were forced by the pandemic to stop and just think.
I sat in a labyrinth. I sat in a labyrinth for 2 months straight.
Yeah.
My own labyrinth of my own building, of my own doing. And I sat in there and I was self-loathing. I was lost. I was confused. I was depressed. I was grieving because I just lost my dad and stuff.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but I was in a state of, but I was in this labyrinth, and here's the thing about it. Most people go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. They're sorry to hear that. And you should have called me." No, I didn't want to call anyone. I disconnected from everyone and everything because it had disconnected from me by the world's change, right? And then I went, okay, fine, let's do this properly then. If it's disconnecting me from it, then I'm going to disconnect from it and put myself in a place where I'm comfortable just being on my own, doing my own thing, and just sitting with the hate, sitting with the grieving, sitting with the depression, just sitting there and going, okay, so what's happening? And really looking at it and really putting it out there and focusing on it and going, okay, so why are you upset about this? Why are you grieving about that? How, what is that related to? What is that related to? How does it stack up, man? And sitting in your own space, feeling lost and alone and confused and all of that, man, is absolutely fine. I just went, you know what? This is the best thing for me. Rather than trying to reach out and call someone for help and shit, where I was just like, I never did that. And it's not for pride or anything that I didn't. It's because I went, well, all the answers are in us. And I've known this for a long time. We know everything is in us already. We just have to be brave enough to go inside and find the right key to unlock the thing, to find the thing, and then be able to deal with the thing that you discover within yourself and either iron it out or quash it or dissolve it, absorb it, understand it, accept it, embrace it, whatever it is, man. You know, and I just went, I'm going to go on this journey internally. And it took me about 2 months of the first half of the pandemic to go in there and deal with that. And I had friends that I hadn't seen in 10, 20 years, because I put like cryptic sort of random posts up on Facebook now and then, just as kind of like, I'm still alive.
You're not dead yet.
Yeah, right. But then I had random friends, some friends I hadn't seen in like over a decade, who would message me and go, hey, I'm here if you want to chat. I know what you're going through. I've gone through it myself. And I started realizing a lot of people I knew had gone through it or were in a similar thing.
Yeah.
And so I knew I wasn't alone. And I know it's also part of the human journey, man. Like, you know, if there's something that you haven't experienced in your life, you will probably experience it before you die, right? So far, you know what I mean? Like, if you go, well, I've never like doing a first podcast, right? You're doing it. But when you were 10, you know what I mean? Falling in love, having a broken heart. I don't know, man. So many things, having an accident, getting in a fight, winning a fight, losing a fight, having surgery, all of these things, right? Thinking that you nearly died, overcoming a fear of dogs or heights or spiders or whatever. All of these things you will go through. Everyone goes through the things that they need to go through in their own life journey. And so when I was in that labyrinth, it was like, this is part of the process, man. It's fun. I know I'm going to get out of there. I know I'm not stuck in there. I've put myself in there on purpose,
Yeah.
right? To deal with what I was having to deal with, man.
But I can just say you're a lucky man and you're a good man, and I'm pleased that you're in a good place at the moment. But
Thanks, man.
I know for a fact that people definitely need help. They don't
Yeah, of
have
course.
that resilience the way you do to be able to do those
No,
things.
no. And a lot of people are fucked, man, because
Yeah.
they don't have that resilience. No,
Wait, look. We are all nutcases. As far as I'm concerned, we are all
absolutely,
nutcases.
100%, man.
Yeah. So I
Listen,
know.
nobody's perfect. Everybody's flawed, right?
Yeah,
8 billion of us.
And,
Okay.
and what I'm hoping people will get from this podcast, apart from the fact that we were talking about immigration, but we're talking about everything from mental health to depression to all sorts
Yeah.
of things, and people will hopefully be able to find answers to some of the things that they're facing. But I know that you have a poem that you wanted to read out, or
Well, I was considering it, man, but I don't know if I want it now because we've just been having this chat, and
damn, I was looking forward to it, but
you
it's
were?
okay. Yeah, I was.
I can read
Because
it, man.
I guess I think it is a very deep. I read it yesterday, and I was deeply. I'm not
You liked
supposed
it?
to be. Yo, I loved it. I loved it.
Okay, great. I'll read it.
Do it.
I'll read it. I'll read it.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's a poem of fact from fiction. We see the blind leading the deaf, leading the dumb, leading the lemmings, and the beat goes on and on and on and on. They bang their drums, booming pomp and stance, to all who bow to their every word, doing their fearful dance, mesmerized by this pandemical romance. Masses made mute by masks to save one another, communications cut off so we can't forge ahead together. Lock down you two where the streets have no name. There is no one to blame except you if you don't follow the rules of a new world order. No orders taken. No toast, no beans, no eggs, no bacon. Stay indoors within four walls. Be bled dry in your own prison like a toothless whore. If isolated again we are, we'll lack the strength to fight. We'll simply lay down and accept our plight. Accept our state and grovel for any non-essential needs. Please, Boris, can I have some more? They'll have us begging on our knees. In 50 years, the Who went from my generation to our disintegration, but the band's not the same. There is no music to this song. The story makes no sense. All of it feels wrong. Long ago, musicians gave us the beat to beat the politic and inspire change. Now scientists give us the politic that elicits rage and confusion. Are we under the spell of the world's greatest illusion? Like magic, the virus appeared and shut the world down, crushing the onlookers in a matter of weeks. It all seems too bleak from one day to the next as we become weak. And when a month makes a year, there are no more tears, as the funny clowns have all died. We are left with the fear of it. The creepy, callous clowns of number 10 are still alive. A pantomime farce of Keystone cops who will say whatever's to stay on top, yet know not how soon their leadership will drop, sinking to the depths beyond Titanic's tragic stop. What happened to the mind of the individual, the critical thinker? Sailed right through from spring to winter. We were sprung upon all at once, an impossible feat on paper, but yet somehow they did it. And now is the winter of our discontent. A plague on all our houses. Out, damn virus. Alas, poor Uric. I knew him not at all. And is this a needle I see before me? A needle that hovers to destroy our very spirits, or save us from slavedom? They'll have made worms meat of our bodies, as they have made so many already, the nameless so many. More numbers and stats, like a game with balls and bats. They bowled every spin, corker, bounce, and lob to us, and have knocked this nation for 6. Every man stuck in his place, every woman repainting her face. every child lost, misplaced. Our nation's disgrace has us all misplaced. By the very people that were placed in trust of us, have done little more than reshape their place and swept the dust with us. Yet we continue to abide. All the while we feel the tide beginning to grow. More of us are waking up. More of us will glow. Whatever they decide, and however they attempt to change the very tapestry of our lives, we will grow stronger and stand taller as they balk in our shadows that will darken their days, as our days will once again spring forward and pleasantly become longer.
Wow.
Thank you.
You know what's really interesting about that poem is the fact that you said you didn't want to do it, but it felt like a PhD poem. You just went on. That's good. Did you enjoy that?
Well, you know what? Yeah, man. The reason I wasn't sure about doing it is because I've never read any of my writing on to anyone. I mean, I've done it one-on-one.
Yeah,
not to an audience. I mean, like as in that's not Anyway, my point was that I wrote that. That was so. One of the kind of writing I do is when I write, I don't sort of sit down and go, right, I must write a thing. Mm-hmm. It just comes out. It's stream of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like the way when we converse, and it's just I just go off on one.
Yeah.
And so the writing, and it comes out in that way, and so that was. I wrote that last day before yesterday, earlier in the day, and then I looked at it a few hours later, and then I just amended a couple of words and added another verse in, and then I sent it to you, and it became what it is.
Yeah.
But that was I wrote that in just like brain fart, man. It was just
wow. That's really powerful and deep, man. I really enjoyed that, and I'm hoping
Thanks.
my listeners will enjoy that. So what's the title of the poem?
I called it a poem of fact from fiction because there's a lot of fictional references there from Shakespeare, Dickens. It's got these, the police can have some more and stuff, and then it's got the Shakespeare. Now is the winter of our discontent, a plague on. So that's from like all the various Shakespeare plays, like Romeo and Juliet and Macbeth and all that stuff, and then yeah.
But this has been great. I don't know. This is the first episode, but I'm having fun. I don't know about you, but it's not about you anyway. It's about
I'm having fun. I'm having a good time.
So
I hope your listeners are enjoying it.
Well, they're not. They will eventually when I put it on a podcast. What are your plans for? What are your plans for the future?
Hey, listeners. Hey, I just want to say, hey, listeners and viewers. Just wanted to say, we hope you are enjoying the show. It's the first time President's doing. Look how happy he is. He's grinning away. But I'm the first guest. I just want to say, because you got to look to them, man, because they're going to be watching, and you want to just give them a little like.
I know. They're looking. They know. Yeah. But they send me already. But
you're wearing a hat. I feel like I should wear a hat, man.
Yeah, wear a hat, man. Wow. Okay. You look different. So, what are your plans?
What are you, man?
You don't look Indian. Did you hear what that House of Lord? Oh no, don't worry. Let's not talk about the news. But let's not talk about the news. So what are your plans for the future?
I'm a chameleon, man. I'm a chameleon, right? So even though I'm Indian origins, I was born here, and I'll let you know about my accents. Mm-hmm. But I've played in my career as an actor, because I'm also an actor and a comedian. But in my career, I've played Bangladeshi guys, Pakistani, Middle Eastern, Bosnian, Iranian, Egyptian, Moroccan, Mexican, Peruvian, South American, New York.
But you haven't played an African. You have an issue with Africans. It is obvious. I can tell.
No, man, I have. I played Nelson Mandela in
Madiba. So what are your plans? What are your plans for the future after the
plans for the future?
After the pandemic, what are your plans?
The pandemic, let me tell you this. The pandemic, I was on Robben Island for 30 years, President Obonjo. I want to tell you this. The pandemic is never ending. It will always be part of this world. They have given us something to play with. and for them to control by. So they have got this pandemic, and the fear of our own mortality is in us. So they can control us more and easier. They have flattened the economy. They're printing their own money. But we will continue to live as we need to get through one day to the next. Plans for the future, I don't know. Thanks, Nelson. Plans for the future.
That was brilliant. That felt like Nelson coming back from the grave, No, that was brilliant. So what are your plans for the future?
Oh, man, I am, because we can't go out there and do the live comedy stuff, which was, for you and me and many of our friends and peers, that's it, man. That was the life journey. That was the path, and you learn all the trials and tribulations on that road of doing comedy, and discovering yourself and bringing laughter to the masses. And now we don't have that opportunity so much. We're doing more stuff online and meeting audiences that way. But I'm writing more. I'm working on a couple of my own projects now, man. I'm working with a great producer and production team, making films. So that was my first love before comedy. I loved films, and I became an actor because I just wanted to work in films. And so we've done 2 during lockdown, which we've got on Amazon now. So we've got a short film on there called The List. And we got a feature on there called Once Upon a Time on York Street. And I'm in both of those. And so we're going to do a series as well for me, just with my impressions and stuff. And one thing I was quite inspired yesterday. I came up with a pretty cool idea, which I won't share right now, but because I want to work on it. But it's me with my impression.
Okay.
Because I live on my own, and when you live on your own, you can talk to yourself, right? And some people feel weird talking to themselves. I've never felt weird talking to myself since I was a kid, right? Because I had toys and I'd make them talk, and sometimes I'd take the toy with me to lunch and we'd sit and talk during lunch because I was having lunch with my parents, but they didn't talk to me. No, I'm kidding. But I didn't understand the language. But it's an idea I've got with me and my impressions, and I filmed a little bit yesterday, so I'm just gonna develop that and hopefully put that out as a series online on YouTube or something. And other than that, man, I haven't been in love for a long time, so I'm on the market. I'm available.
Okay.
I am. If there's any nice young or my age, kind of, or younger, not older. How young am I? Yeah, I know. People ask me that all the time. You tell me, man, and I'll tell you if you're right.
I reckon you're about 48.
What? What the fuck did you just say, man? Are you kidding me?
But are you using any of the dating websites like?
No, man. I don't. I'm old school.
Tinder.
I'm old school. Have you seen Tinder during COVID?
I don't. I have 6 wives. I have 6 wives at home. I don't need Tinder.
This is Tinder during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Mask.
Are you serious? Mask.
Oh, that's a nice mask. What about her eyes? Oh, I don't like her eyes at all.
I use Twitter a lot, and there was a comic who wrote that they haven't worn their bra for a long time, but they've worn more masks this year.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. When it all started, right? And they're like, you have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
When you go out, you have to wear a mask. So I was like, okay. Well, they weren't too specific at the time about what kind of mask you had to wear. So I was like, okay. So I used to put on this mask, and I'd go to the shops, right? I'm just here to get my essentials. Ooh. Right? You know what I mean? They didn't say what mask. So I used to fuck around and go up the street like with that. Or sometimes I put on this mask, and I put this mask on. But it was really hard to it was really hard to buy anything or ask for anything because no one could understand So I'd just take it and run. And they'd go, what do he look like? And the police would turn out. They goes, he looked like Chewbacca. And they goes, Chewbacca from Star Wars. He goes, yeah. He goes, but shorter, you know. And but now I think we're now in the state. We're now in the state, right, of where we've gotten because they've dragged this motherfucking virus bullshit out.
Yeah,
in
general COVID.
right?
It's the invisible
now
enemy.
We're at the state. Now we're at the state of everyone should be wearing these masks now, right? That's the mask.
Yeah,
right.
Got you.
If everybody puts this on, then we can get away with a lot more.
Excellent. And I think on that note, this has been for me. I would say this myself. I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. It's been.
Has this been your best episode of your podcast series?
Well, they're going to be better. There's going to be better podcast series, but no, seriously. Seriously, it's been fantastic.
Hey, man.
So, if my listeners or followers want to follow you, or how can they find you?
I live in Hornsey, near the station. North London, baby!
Not London.
You can find me, message me, especially if you want to ask me out on a date or something, at Anil Desai Comic. And that's on, I'm more on Instagram and Facebook, but you can message me via Twitter if you use Twitter as well. I'm on that like once a week or something. I don't know. Yeah, man. And my YouTube channel will be up sometime in the next couple of months or something.
Okay, so
I'm just building content. I'm just recording content.
Excellent. So I do have a lot of female fans, so I might be able to help you out with with one female fan, but you need to describe very quickly. Just describe what type of woman are you after? What type of woman are you after? You must have a type of woman.
One that's alive.
Okay.
No, a woman that is man, I like all kinds of girls, man. Like just, a woman that's a one that gets me, one that goes, well, okay, this guy's a little crazy. He talks to himself and he does comedy. He's an actor, and he doesn't have his own house. I don't drive a car. Don't have a regular job. I'm not one of those guys, right?
And your chances of finding love are very, very slim, mate.
Is that what love's about now? Love's about jobs and cars and shit. Wow. Is that what love's about? You know what I mean? Well, I'm about love, man. If you want love, right? And that's you'll get that from me.
What is love? What is love? What is love without what is love without a car? What is love without a house? What is love without a job?
Man, you know what? You could be in a Turkish prison with someone that you fall in love with and just be like, I don't care where we are. We're together. We're happy. We're fine.
That's fiction. That's fiction.
Love is love like music, right? Has no boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay. It can penetrate in so many like where nothing else can, man. And it can break through everything.
That's everything. Love is another subject for a podcast. Another subject for another episode.
Well, I'll come back for that one, man. Look, I'll come back for that.
It's been a pleasure, and
hey, man, it's been great.
It's been great. There's been some great moments, and there's been some my internet has been playing up as well, but it's all good. It's all good.
It's been great, man. I really enjoyed it.
I did too. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. And you're
frozen there. Fucking what the hell?
You're coughing. You've been coughing a lot. You've been.
No, I didn't freeze that. I was just messing around. Huh?
Yeah, you've been coughing a lot. Have you been to the doctors? You got Ebola or COVID? Which one?
No, I've just been coughing a lot because I've just changed from regular cigarettes to an e-cigarette.
Okay.
So that's in the last week. So that's kind of new for me. But also, I've been talking a lot and not drinking enough water whilst I've been talking. So
I don't need to self-isolate. No, I don't need to.
You already have, man. That's why I live by myself.
That's true, man. Look, man, it's been a pleasure. You have a wonderful weekend, whatever's left of it, and I will be in touch with you soon.
Whatever's left of it? It's only Saturday afternoon. I got 2 whole days.
I don't know. Also, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what day or time it is.
I know, and you know what? During lockdown, it's a fucking weekend the whole way.
And then it's raining. It's just I wanted to go out today before doing this. It's raining.
Oh yeah, you know what? But when it rains, man, that's Lord of the Rings weather, right? That's when
okay.
You get into like
okay.
Time for Lord of the Rings.
Hey,
right, hey.
So,
President,
ladies and gentlemen, this is all done. Thank you so much, and look forward to talking to another person again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, tune in. Watch him next week, man. He's
Yeah,
gonna
watch
have
him next
someone
week.
less fun than me.
No.
Hey,
No,
take care.
come on. We had fun. We had fun. Thank you so much.
Oh no, I'm gonna say whoever you have next isn't gonna be as much fun as.
See ya.
Thanks, President. Thanks,
Bye.
viewers. See you guys. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Get me.